Come all you moonshiners if you want to hear about the kind of booze that the serve around.
Welcome to Barley and Hops. I'm Ray Jones, and today we're going to take our table sugar and our corn sugar. We're going to transfer them into secondary vessels. We're going to test the specific gravity, see if they're finished, and if they're finished, we're going to clear them and get them ready for a still. Let me grab my star sand and get started. All right, what we're going to use to transfer this is we're going to use an auto siphon. The auto siphon is a pretty neat little device. It basically sucks up the fluid, and then you push it out and creates a vacuum, which forces the fluid out of the bucket into the other bucket. We have our hose. So let's get the transfer in. All right. The first thing I notice about this is it has a very unpleasant odor to it. This kind of smells refined or just processed is probably a good word. It's got a very dark yellow hue to it, so we'll see what the corn sugar looks like here in a minute. All right, folks, we got our sample here. We're going to put our hydrometer in there and see what happens. Here we go. Oh, that sucker went way down there. Look at that. Look at that. Hey, we're below zeros. We're so low we can't even take a reading. So you folks out there think you can't get to 20%? This started off at 17.5. We got at least measurable 19.5% alcohol in here. And it's below the reading line, so you can get there if you're patient. Folks, here's the result. What we have in this bucket right here, the bucket on the right, is our yeast and sediment, also known as trub, in the bottom of our barrel, and this is the transferred product over here. You can see it's got a kind of a yellowish hue to it, kind of a sickly yellow hue to it. So, as you can see, folks, that's what happens when you use table sugar. Okay, we've just finished our table sugar. Now we're on to the corn sugar. We're going to transfer this one into this bucket. We're going to see what we get. All right. As we pull the lid off, first thing we notice, much more pleasant aroma. It still has kind of a yellow pink hue, which you'll see here in a minute. And now we're going to begin the transfer. All right, folks, we got our sample, and we're going to drop our hydrometer in there and see what we get. And once again, we see that we are below the reading lines, which gives us, just like the table sugar, somewhere around the 0.908 range, or in this case, or another way it says negative 3%, 3.5% alcohol, which, since it's a negative number, you actually add that to the original number. So this one was 14. We're looking at about 17.5% alcohol, whereas the table sugar was at 17.5. We add about 3.5. So we got 19.5, 20% alcohol in this wash. So it looks like it's just about done transferring. We're going to add some clearing stuff to this, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. All right, now you can see these side by side, the two in the glass test jars. You can see they're sitting at right about the same level, and they're also about the same level of clearness. And you could run these through your still right now if you wanted to. However, scorching is your number one enemy when it comes to running it through a still. So we want to get this just as clear as possible before we put it on a still, so we want to avoid that scorching. Now we're going to zoom in on our buckets here. What we got here is we got kind of a yellowish pinkish hue in the corn sugar, and I think the pinkish hue comes off of the yeast, and the table sugar, the corn sugar, it looks like it's a bit, probably more clear, and some of that pink hue is coming through to the top. And then you got the table sugar over here, which is all just kind of a sickly yellow. And the number one thing you can tell is the aroma off of it. The corn sugar smells really good, where the table sugar has more of a pungent odor to it. So we're going to clear these now. We're going to show you how to do that, and we'll be right back. All right, I'm going to take this hydrometer out of here. And we're going to pour this back in here, but before we pour it back in there, we're going to give it a quick taste. The first thing I can tell you is it's pretty strong. It has a burn feeling, it goes all the way down. And to me, it's just not very pleasant. So let's just pour that back in there. And some of you folks that are worried about bacteria, with 20% alcohol, the bacteria is not really a problem anymore. At least the bacteria that'll kill you. Here we go with the table sugar, or correction, the corn sugar. This is the corn sugar, let me correct that. Take the hydrometer out of there, set it down, take a quick taste. That's actually kind of pleasant. I actually like that. A little strong for, you know, but it's actually quite pleasant. Let me pour that in there. Okay, folks, now we're to the clearing phase. We have Turbo Clear, which has ketazole and chitosan in it. We have potassium sorbate, and we have Candem tablets, which has metabisulfite in it. Candem tablets, I'll grade them as a C. They're pretty good at clearing. They're pretty good at sanitizing, and they'll work as a pinch for both. Potassium sorbate makes the yeast basically cocoon itself, and it falls basically out of the mash or wash. So it's actually pretty good as a clearing agent. Turbo Clear, well, it has chitosan and chitosan, which basically grabs everything that's floating in there and pulls it down. It also has metabisulfite in it, same as the Candem tablets, so it causes the yeast to stop acting. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll give them a stir, and we're going to use Turbo Clear today. Okay, let me grab my paddle, and we'll start with the table sugar. Give it a good stir. Turbo Clear comes with part A and part B. You basically drizzle part A while it's moving around slowly, so it mixes with the liquid slowly for 1 hour. After 1 hour, you place in part B and wait 24 hours. And you'll be really shocked at what comes out of your wash or your mash. Now on to the corn sugar. Now we got to wait 1 hour, then we'll put part B in. Hour, we're going to add part B. First, the table sugar. We're going to give it a good stir. Drizzle it. Okay, we're back 24 hours later. As you can see, the Turbo Clear did its job and really cleared up our washes here. You can actually read the hydrometers through the glass test jars, as opposed to yesterday when it was really cloudy. So remember, the clearer your liquid is going in, the clearer it will be when it comes back out. So you want to make sure your product is nice and clear before you put it inside that still. That about wraps up this segment. And well, be sure to like us, subscribe, and share us with your friends. And as always, happy brewing.
Yeah.